Hi, I'm Slava. I've spent more than 16 years building software systems, backend platforms, cloud infrastructure, and production environments. Recently, I've been building my own SaaS products and working extensively with AI tools. I started to ship to prod to share practical lessons from software architecture, backend development, Kubernetes, AI engineering, and building products that actually run in production. No hype, no toy examples, just real engineering and real systems. And today I will show you how to give your Claude Code access to your company's knowledge using RAG and MCP. Before we start building anything, let's talk about a question you might already have. Why do we need RAG? So, Claude Code already supports project instructions through files like Claude.md. And honestly, Claude.md is one of the most powerful features of Claude Code. For example, this is Claude.md file I use for Status Harbor. A few words about the project. Status Harbor is an uptime and infrastructure monitoring platform that I've been building recently. So inside this file, I keep information such like project overview, architecture decision, coding standards, and many more. This gives Claude a solid understanding of the project and significantly improves the quality of its responses. For a small project, this approach is more than enough. But as the project grows, things start getting complicated. Over time, accumulating architecture documentation, runbooks, deployment guides, API documentation, and so many more additional information for the project. So I moved to a different approach. I still keep high-level project knowledge in Claude.md, but detailed feature documentation lives under a dedicated docs. For every major feature, I created a separate documentation. So let's see on our mentioned project, and I will show you what is the structure of the documentation for different features, enhancements, and so on for Status Harbor. I have this structure where Claude Code can get all of the information for a different specific feature. For example, here we can see files and folders. Files contains different data about some minor enhancements, improvements, features, and so on. If we will check our latest feature to the existed project called metrics, we can see much more complicated structure of the folder. It means that the feature touches a lot of points of integration for the current platform. It means we need to improve or add some additions to our backend, to our existing Lighthouse clients, extend our migrations and databases, prepare some changes for infrastructure, and create a release plan for production to do not break our existing client's user experience. As you could see, this works much better because Claude Code can read detailed implementation notes, architectural decisions, workflows, and business requirements for a specific feature without turning Claude.md into a massive document. But even this approach has limits. At some point, you stop having a few pages of information. You have hundreds or even thousands. And putting all of that into Claude.md isn't practical anymore. Even if you could, Claude would need to process all of that information every time you start a session. That's where RAG comes in. Instead of trying to load all knowledge upfront, we store it in a searchable system. When Claude Code needs additional context, it can search for relevant information and retrieve only what it needs. Think about this way. Claude.md tells Claude how the project works. Feature documentation explains how specific parts of the project work. RAG helps Claude discover everything else. Okay, we were talking a lot, but let's have some practice. As you can see, we have open page with Qdrant. This is well-known RAG tool. Actually, it's a vector database for our needs. So we are going to build an integration through MCP server between Claude Code and Qdrant. But before it, we need to set up the environment. We need to run some application which will help to convert our custom markdown files into Qdrant. So basically the data will be ingested into Qdrant, and after that we can proceed with integration. In the end, we will see the result, so what it will give us. Let's start. First of all, let's install Qdrant on our host with with Docker. So as we can see, everything is running fine, and let's try to jump in to the dashboard. Qdrant has its own UI where we can see what the data we have. So for now we don't see any collections. This is the place where our knowledge for our demo will be stored. So I've created for this demo short application written on Go, which will help us to store some markdown files into Qdrant. So in docs folder we have 3 markdown files. One of them is fake file about quantum flux engine. I don't know what is it. I just generated it with fake specifications, and so if we will try to ask in current statement our Claude Code, it will definitely tell us nothing about the engine. Let's try. What do you know about okay, I don't have any info about something called quantum flux engine, and this is enough. Let's try to the next. For now, we need to upload the file, actually 3 files from docs into Qdrant. So I will copy the command which will help me to ingest the data. So this application will read all markdown files from docs, then create collection called markdown, and will ingest the data from docs into the markdown collection. In other words, to simplify it, in the collection list we will have the new one item called markdown. Let's see. And in the end, as we can see, 3 files was ingested. Let's check. Yeah, we have. Okay, let's go to the next part, integration Claude Code with Qdrant, with our RAG system. So for this we need to use the official MCP server from Qdrant. And here we have already predefined commands which you can use by your own from this repo. I will attach the link to the video in the end. But one requirement which we have for this, you need to set up this package using brew if you are using Mac OS. So about the configuration of the integration, we have running Qdrant on the port, localhost and the port. We know that collection name is markdown, and actually this is it. Let's try to copy it. I will use a separate tab, probably this one. Let's already in local config. Okay, Claude. Let's check MCPs. Okay, now let's ask, what do you know about the engine? Okay, use Qdrant MCP to get the knowledge. As we can see, our knowledge are present in the same state as it was described in the initial documentation. Exactly the same. At this point, you might be thinking, this is cool, but what does RAG actually give us? For me, the biggest benefit isn't better AI, it's better access to knowledge. Every project accumulates information over the time. Architecture decisions, runbooks, feature documentations, and many more. The problem is that this knowledge becomes harder and harder to find. New engineers spend weeks learning where things are. Experienced engineers become the human search engine for the team, and important information gets lost. RAG changes that. Instead of manually searching through repositories and documentation, Claude Code and any other AI agent can retrieve the information it needs and use it to answer the question. That means faster onboarding, fewer interruptions, better documentation, less context switching, and most important, the answers come from your knowledge, not from the model's training data. Today, we used a completely fictional technology called quantum flux engine. Claude knew absolutely nothing about it, yet it was able to answer detailed questions because the information existed inside Qdrant. The same approach works for you, for your own systems, your own documentation. And that's why I think RAG is one of the most practical ways to improve AI-assisted development today. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Ship to Prod. On this channel, I will be sharing practical lessons from software architecture, AI engineering, Kubernetes, and building SaaS products that run in production. See you in the next one. Build, ship, improve, repeat.